All right. Since getting married, I've been working with my wife at least, I'd say around 70% of the time on the job site and training her in the direction of being a good foreman. And here's some of the things that this has done to benefit the relationship. So one thing that we've forgotten a lot in our culture is that biological rhythms play a big part of attunement in a relationship. For example, if two people are close and spend enough time together, their heartbeats will ultimately beat at the same time. Because as social mammalian creatures, it is our nature to seek and attune to what's called in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, love and belonging. It's our nature. The species survives more when it's close. And so one of the problems, and I think it contributes to the prevalence of promiscuity and infidelity in our culture, one of the problems with our culture where spouse and spouse are separate, maybe 10 hours a day, and then have a couple of hours of some quality time for their biological systems to line up. One of the problems is that we can be more attuned to a coworker or even a client that we're spending, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours of a day with than we are with our own family. And there's only one way to partner with our body's natural instinct to attune to the people we're spending the most time with. And I think the body's 100 million year old program is assuming that with a precious resource like time, we're going to spend our time with the people who matter most. That we're going to spend most of our time doing what we think is most important. And that therefore the body is going to instinctively attune to whoever we spend the most time with. So by working with my wife, there's a natural rhythm that comes into being that simply isn't there. Meeting a few hours a day, etc., having, this or that move, it's just not there. And so that's a plus. And I particularly feel it, like we were hauling a particularly heavy 5-gallon bucket of rocks up a long flight of steps. We were both carrying the bucket, and I felt closer to her. And so there's a connection between the physical rhythm of working and doing stuff together and the way you feel about one another. And so there's a plus to that. There's also a resilience factor with the business, meaning if the clients know both of us as a couple and so they're meeting us together and and relating to us as the business owners, then there is more possibility to send Jen to the job site and or find out what's going on here. It's also a reality that clients relate to varying degrees to different ones of us. So one client might relate more to Jen, one client more to me, and it allows a little bit of a trading off of that between the two of us, a client's got a good chance of connecting well with at least one of us, emotionally as well as mentally and logistically. And so I think that's there's a value there. It's also a terrific business. It's a terrific business making people happy by making functional, beautiful spaces, because everyone in the world needs and wants a functional, beautiful space. And so it's a talent that, as a mindset, as a design talent, as a thinking talent, as a structural talent, that you can take anywhere in the world. Because in China, in Vietnam, in England, in Denmark. Everyone has space, and everyone wants that space to be more beautiful and more functional. And so the talents that are learned in this, whether it's, the talent of wall building, the talent of paving areas, compacting areas, grading areas, shaping areas, combining colors, combining textures. The talents that relate to all of this are incredibly important everywhere, all over the world. And so it's fun to know that my wife, after some number of years, will have that talent, will be able to share it with others, and will either bring that as an asset to my company, or maybe we run parallel companies. It creates a resilience. It creates value in the relationship. So bonding and connecting the biological rhythms, an opportunity to engage with clients, an opportunity for more flow. This allows the ability for me, for example, to head off to our apartment in Thailand and connect via WhatsApp and things with Jen, who can write the payroll checks, etc., and manage the crew. So I think in general, it's a good idea. Now, the bad ideas, particularly in a dating framework of kind of working with someone, is that money is an incredibly complex and charged topic. And the problem is that everyone has a different story about money. I think that money means that you're a jerk or that you've exploited the poor. I think money means that you've contributed jobs. I think money means that you're selfish. I think money means that you've been successful and you've worked hard. Everyone has their different meanings of what it is. So when you bring money into a financial relationship or into a romantic relationship, you're bringing the baggage that is subliminally stored in each partner. And so, the way that I've done it, with my wife is I've said that I'm going to pay you exactly what I would pay a complete stranger based on your abilities, which will, of course, grow over time. 2, only if you want to. If you want to work with me, if you're having more fun working with me than getting a job doing something else, then work with me. If you want to do something else, then do something else. So freedom around whether to work together or not. Freedom around how much to work together. Sometimes, my wife will work 3 or 4 hours and then go sit in the car and play with her phone as I, finish up stuff. But, since I'm usually working 4 hours a day, 6 months of the year, it's, she's not waiting around that much. But there's that freedom. So there's freedom around how much to work, whether to work together or not. And I just pay her exactly what I would pay anyone else. Treat her as an employee exactly as anyone else, and notice whether it benefits the marriage or doesn't. And if it doesn't, we talk about that, and we've got range around that, and so she's got a variety of things. But I point out to her that if she does what she's doing now for the next 5 years, she'll be able to run a company if she wants. A nice option to have. So that's it on this idea. So tell me below, do you work with your partner in your business? Does it add or destroy romance? Does it add or reduce income, do you think, over working separately? Does it seem good for your family? I note that in the biological evolution of mammalian species, for most of the last 100 years, as in the movement from human animal to human being, we have worked in groups. We have worked in packs, and, you would typically be doing and foraging and doing things with your mate. And that it makes understanding. You don't have to explain so much or be shocked when you come home from your partner because, you had an excavator tip over on the job site that day and they have no idea. They've been off shopping or they've been off doing something else, and so they're oblivious. Whereas when you experience significant things together, you're attuned emotionally and mentally and biologically, and you don't have to say, like, how was your day and all that, because you're sharing that. So a couple of my thoughts, and love to hear yours.